So, hey guys, Chauzo here. And yeah, there's some pretty big news here. Shoutouts to Godot from the subreddit Discord server for posting this with translation. So yeah, let's read this together. I might be able to read Japanese, but not Korean. So yeah, let's see what it says. So on April 21st, the Korean server will be merging with the global version of OPTC. Korean accounts will be given the ability to transfer their accounts to the global version, hence the merge, if you're confused. And here's a rough translation. Yeah, April 21st this year, Korean version of One Piece Treasure Cruise will be terminated. In order to allow users to continue enjoying One Piece Treasure Cruise even after the Korean version is terminated, the Korean version has been added to the English and French versions, which are being served worldwide starting from North America, Europe, and French version. Yeah, that was a pretty bad Google translation. And will now be referred to as the Korean and English and French version, and the global One Piece Treasure Cruise. And it will also be available on Google Play and Apple Play Store in Korea. So yeah, that's obviously pretty big. And then there's some notes what this could mean, and that's a big part of what we'll talk about. More competition in ranked events, for sure. I think some are overstating that, but yeah, obviously more players, more hardcores, it will be tougher. Less maintenance required to manage multiple servers. Lead to more quality updates, content coming sooner. I don't know about that, we'll see about that. And there may be a chance somewhere down the line for the global server to merge with JP one day. So yeah, just to note, this is just speculation. This isn't something that's written in Korean. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to talk about. So where do we start with this? Maybe we can start with the fact that they're doing any server changes whatsoever. And that the change they're doing is not just closing. That's the easiest, right? You don't have to do anything after you close. But they are moving, they are merging with another. So they are putting in a lot of effort to let the Korean players keep their progress. And they are able to continue playing with their account on a different server. So if anything, this points more towards consolidation, like they will need less people to manage the Korean version. It will still exist. They will need to add new translations and such. But so yeah, they're consolidating. They used to have 3 versions plus line, of course, but let's ignore line. And now they're moving to 2. And of course, that will require less work overall with the server side of things. So yeah, that means we'll be having a lot of Korean players soon. So let's talk a bit about that, like what it means for us on global. Well, if we start with the positives, it means we have a new anniversary. And as far as I've been told, this anniversary for Korea will be shortly after this merge. So I can see a very big event happening there. It's hard to say what the theme will be, if it's like Welcome Korea or some big celebration party like let's make both the Korea and global players happy about this, let's make it hype. I can definitely see something like that. It will be together with the V2 wife batch, with the V2 Shirashiro and V2 Viveka. So yeah, they can do something cool with that. I can definitely see that happening. And if we talk a bit more about the negatives, like the biggest negative, I guess, is for people like me who rank high often on global. It will be harder because Korea also has some hardcore players who also rank high regularly. And I don't want to go as far as I've seen some do on Reddit and such, like, oh, Korea are the biggest grinders there is. Like, we'll see about that. Like, when we have experienced them in World Cruise. So we know that if they want to farm, they'll do it, but we have to also remember that World Cruise was a special event. And yeah, like we had a global player close to the top 2, but of course there were more Koreans in the top 100 than global players. So if you think about it from that perspective, then we'd be in trouble. But as said, it was a special event, and I don't think Manu and Global really cared about competing with JP. So who knows, maybe that aspect was bigger in Korean. Or maybe they really go all out every event. I'm thinking about this treasure map pudding that I'll probably make a Korean account just to check in on their treasure map and how their ranking look compared to global. That should be interesting to see like what is in store for us. Personally, I don't really care much about this. Like, another new anniversary is a plus. That plus might be cancelled out for me, since I myself often rank high, so that might be harder, but maybe they do increase the rewards a bit. I'm doubtful about that personally. So yeah, and I guess we'll finish with talking about the big question many have now. So if Korea and global can merge, does that mean that in the future global can merge with JP? And like before today, we didn't think any merge were on the cards. Like, we've been hearing about the difficulties of merging servers, that they are different. Bandai haven't really handled different accounts that well between servers, which has made cross-server competitions a bit difficult to manage from time to time. But yeah, like that doesn't matter now, because now we know we're going to merge, and it's merged in the aspect that they will let Korea account transfer. So I'm presuming we'll have some big maintenance to get all that done. Maybe over a day, who knows? And yeah. And I've also seen many talk about why Korea is being merged with global, not JP. But obviously, Korea are lined up with global. It's easier to merge that first. And since that indicates that they are consolidating One Piece Treasure Cruise to less servers, we of course have the possibility of them wanting to consolidate further, just one server. I don't think like this means that global is one more step towards closing down. Like, if anything, this really speaks for global being healthy if they are willing to take this much effort to keep the Korean accounts alive. Like, I don't think you do that if you plan to just have JP eventually. So if their goal is to go towards one single server for One Piece Treasure Cruise, it feels like, at least for now, that they'd be wanting global to merge in that case. Like, it's just speculation. Maybe this is the only changes they want to make for the long term. But it's still fun to speculate about, because like, the fact is that we are still around 5 months behind. I know you'll read a lot of people say, oh, but we're actually just 4 months behind. Look at the legends, but it doesn't really work like that. Like, Odin and Roger messed it up a bit, but in terms of badges, we're still 5 months behind. We can't just skip a Pirate Rumble season. We can't just skip a treasure map, and we are 5 treasure map and Pirate Rumble behind. That's just an unchangeable fact. But obviously, the biggest evidence if a merge is going to happen sometime is if global starts to get closer to JP. And how do they do that? Well, as stated, the biggest problems really are treasure map and Pirate Rumble, and eventually legend badges if we are synced up again. So what they can try and do is sometimes have the Power Rumble season just be 3 weeks, like cut it to 5 days, 4 or 5 days with the rest behind. We quickly catch up by doing that. We've done 2 treasure map in a month before, we can do it again. And like if they plan to merge our servers like over a year in the future, they can just do like content heavy periods like 4 or 5 times, and we will be pretty much lined up, and it will be much easier to merge us if they want that. So yeah, we'll just have to keep our eyes out for that. Like they have a golden opportunity to start this with treasure map Como, because Como has no legend badge. So all they have to do really, if they want us to catch up a month, is to start to shorten Power Rumble seasons by a bit, and basically make batches closer to 3 weeks for a few months. And then we can cram in Como together with either the V2 Wife batch or the V2 Kaido V3 Zoro batch. And poof, we'd be 1 month closer, we'd just be 4 months behind. And then we can do the same thing a bit later, we'd be 3 months behind, and etc. So yeah, I'd say that unless this starts to happen, it's not even worth speculating. We can speculate like long term, but I can't see Bandai being like, okay, we are planning to merge, you are 5 months behind, it is what it is, you'll at least keep your accounts. Like, of course Bandai does what they want, but why do it in a way that makes people unhappy? But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Have a good one. See you next time.